just tell them to hold up for just a moment.
Also, court, please, while the jury is out, we just got this notice, of course, with disc numbers and things on it, which obviously it's almost impossible for us to look at the disc while we're in court, but it appears from this, from what they're listing, that they would do one disc they want him to play for 10 hours and another one for 6 hours. So they're talking 16 hours of playing videotape
Not on this planet.
in the dorm. So I don't know, we may need to address that. I mean, that's what it shows, disc 40 and disc 50 is 10 hours long. I don't know what they're planning to do, but I think the court needs to address that before.
Okay, well, Mr. Perez can address that.
Your Honor, I understand Mr. Mercedes just got this morning. We were asked to give it to him this morning, which we complied with. So we submitted DISC, just the whole information of what we're going to use. As far as the time issue, we're not going to show 16 hours. That's ridiculous. We will get to the time and show them the time. They're the discs they gave us. They know what's on there. We're not trying to sneak anything by them. We're not trying to run behind them and introduce something. We are just playing what they gave us in evidence.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, while the jury is out, as the state requested that you ask some foundational questions.
Mr. Harville, again, good morning. You indicated that you're familiar with the gold access system. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you indicated that you know that it gives access to rooms, entrance to the dorm halls, correct?
Yes, sir.
And through doors, correct?
Yes.
All right. And additionally, you indicated that it's also used as a credit card. Is that correct?
As a debit card, yes.
Okay, debit card. And you formally testified that you reviewed access and credit card information in this case. Do you recall that off the gold card?
Using the gold card standard, yes.
Yes. And so you would have information as to gold card access and the credit card information on that. Is that true?
I believe on the gold card access, it'll show you, I think it shows you the location where the gold card was used at.
Okay. And what about the transactions on the gold card?
It should show the location of the transactions as well.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. I think the foundation's been laid.
Your Honor, that defeats the purpose of us objecting to the foundation. I would ask that he be passed the document, ask if he recognizes the document, ask if he recognizes the charges, and if he knows what any of the codes mean.
All right.
This is the same conversation we had back in chambers, and Your Honor said in front of the jury that Mr. Perez, I'm not trying to steal Mr. Perez, but the court said he could ask the question in front of the jury, and if he doesn't recognize it, he can say no. And we asked that question be asked in front of the jury.
Well, but when you're laying foundation, I mean, it's common practice to show the document to the witness and ask what knowledge he has of the document. That's just common practice.
And he asked that earlier in another document in front of the jury, and he said he didn't recognize it, and we were able to ask that question in front of the jury. We're asking to be able to ask that same question in front of this jury.
Well, he'll be able to ask. But go ahead and show the document.
Mr. Harville, I handed you a 2-page document. You're familiar with that document?
Yes.
Okay. And it has the alleged victim's information on it. Is that correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Looking at the second page, the bottom half, do you know what that represents?
You talking about the recent transactions? Yes.
You know what that represents?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Your Honor, again, I renew my objection to foundation. Mr. Perez indicated that he was going to ask Captain Harville about the codes related to those transactions. In order for him to be able to ask that question, there has to be a foundation that Captain Harville is familiar with the codes and what the codes mean. I object to the foundation, and I would request that he not be allowed to ask him any questions about that document.
Maybe I misheard him earlier, but I thought I heard him asked about the codes. I may be mistaken about that.
Your Honor, Mr. Harville just said he was familiar with the transactions down there. I don't want to have a whole hearing right now so we can further just sit here while Ms. Norman objects. I think that's improper. She's trying to interfere with my cross-examination of Mr. Harville. He's already said he's familiar with this document, knows this document, knows the transactions.
I'm going to allow you to ask the questions.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
All right.
All right, please be seated.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Harwell, before the break, we left off, and I handed you a 2-page document just right now. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes, sir. This is it's the Go Card transaction and also identification sheet that we have off the Go Card.
Okay, and who's the document for?
This is the alleged victim.
Okay. And does it indicate what year she is in college?
Yes, it does.
And what year is she?
Senior.
And
Well, what year? When?
oh, of June of 2000. Thank you, Your Honor. Of June of 2013. What year was she?
Senior.
Does it indicate that she was employed by Vanderbilt University at the time of June 2013?
It says volunteer services, but I don't know if that means working for Vanderbilt or another service on campus.
Now, on June of 2013, the alleged victim in this case, she lived in an apartment off.
Objection, Your Honor. I object to lack of foundation, and I don't even understand why we're getting into this when this is about gold card charges.
I'll rephrase the question, Your Honor.
Okay.
Detective Harwell, why did the alleged victim in this case have a access card, if you know?
Because she's a student.
Did she have access by looking at that document to dorm rooms?
I don't know about dorm room.
I mean dorm halls. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Dorm halls.
I can't determine that from this document.
Looking at the second page in the bottom half, it says transactions. What is that?
Talking about recent transactions?
Correct.
That is showing the time and date and the basic location where the Go Card was used for any type of transactions.
On June 22nd of 2013, does it show a usage on that card?
June 22nd?
Yes.
Yes, it's showing 4.
4? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what time is the first one?
The first one was 08:48.
What time would that be?
8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock Yeah, 8 o'clock, 8:48 in the morning.
in the morning. And next to it, you'll see number 1006. Are you familiar with that number?
I don't see a 10. I see a 1002.
Oh, amen. All right. Are you familiar with that number?
No.
What is there another entry, strike that, is there an entry on June 23rd, the following day?
No, there isn't.
I have to re-ask you a question. Can you tell me, looking at the entries of June 22nd, you said there's 4 of them?
Yes, sir.
Are there three of those taxi cab receipts?
The location says Taxi USA.
Okay. And can you state what the time of each one of those?
The first one is 0848. The second one is 3329. And the next one is 2355. And I believe I misspoke. The first one is 0848. I believe that might be meaning it's in the morning time instead of 12 o'clock in the morning time. It has 00 since this is based on military time. So it's 0848 and 3329, and the next one is 2355, which is 11:55 at night on the 22nd.
Thanks. If a person lived off campus, would they need an access card?
Yes.
And why is that?
It depends on which type of student they are. They get into the dorm building, get into the education building. Sometimes you need a gold card to access those buildings.
Taking you back to the knife system, I had thought about some questions that slipped my mind. Do you know if the main housing where you've never been, do you know if it's locked?
Well, I've been into the main housing. I never went there to actually look at the video system, the computers. But to answer your question, I don't know.
Do you know who would have access to that?
I'm pretty sure housing has access to the system.
Do you have access to that?
No, I do not.
Do you know if it's saved on a cloud?
I don't know.
Do you save things on clouds? Do you know that system?
Do I?
Yes.
No.
You requested that Mr. Colon, C-O-L-O-N, to bring Mr. Vandenburg to you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was a meeting that you were present with Detective Cherie and Detective Mayo. Is that correct?
I was not present in the meeting, no.
You just had Mr. Colon bring Mr. Vandenburg to those two detectives?
Mr. Collin brought Mr. Vandenburg over to the police department on Vanderbilt's campus. I met him outside, I believe, and then I introduced Mr. Vandenburg to the two Metro detectives.
Did you know Mr. Vandenburg prior to this incident or investigating him?
No.
Did you know how long he had been on campus prior to this incident?
No.
Do you know now during your investigation?
I believe, yes.
How long?
I think a few months.
How about a few weeks?
That's possible.
Were you present when Mr. Jaborian McKenzie gave an interview to Detective Sharif and Detective Mayo?
Was I present? No. Well, I was. No, I wasn't. No.
What's your hesitation?
Well, I was trying. He was actually. They was all interviewed at VUPD. However, I was not present in the room.
Could you hear anything going on?
No.
I handed you a document. Are you familiar with that document?
No.
Does it look like a floor plan of the 6th floor in Gillette Hall?
It looks like a floor plan of a 6th floor. I couldn't tell you if it's from Gillette Hall, from any other hall on campus.
Have you ever constructed a floor plan of the 6th floor?
No.
How about the 2nd floor?
Have I constructed a floor plan?
Drew one out.
No.
Are you familiar where Mr. Jaborian McKenzie's room is?
Yes, it was on the 6th floor of Gillette.
And who was his roommate?
His roommate was Brandon Banks.
And there are 2 individuals that you've identified who were in Mr. Vandenburg's room with the alleged victim. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And there's a 3rd person, Mr. Batey, Cory Batey. Where was his room located?
His room is also located on the 6th floor of Gillette Hall.
Were they right across from one another?
I believe so, yes.
I need to put some video, Your Honor, clip 1, which is at 2:03:34.
Your Honor, the state just requested the court instruct defense counsel to notify us if they're going to be playing any new video. He's referring to clip 1 that was already entered into evidence. Exhibit 2A, the state has no objection, but if this is new video, I request that the court allow the state to be notified before it's published to the jury.
Okay, you want to see what it is?
I need to know what it is. I might have an objection to it, but I don't know what part of the 1,500 hours.
Well, we can resolve that. I can have the jury step out for a moment, and we'll go through it real quickly. Okay.
All right. Everyone have a seat.
Okay, we're ready to bring it up. Is it going to be on our system? Okay, it looks like it is.
Yeah, it's going to be on the little
Okay.
TV show.
Your Honor, the state objects as whatever shows up on those TVs is being streamed out. It also, depending on what's shown, it might all have to be redacted.
We're going to have to put it through that system there. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have to do
I
that.
think it's connected, I think.
Okay. Just-
Don't think it's connected to theirs.
But it's the TV correct?
I don't know how to do it over there.
Here's the HDMI. Here's the connected.
No, not working. That box, that TV is not plugged into wood system. Separately.
Yesterday we tested it, and I was able to show it from his.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay. Maybe better to just pay pictures.
Yeah.
Your Honor, the state has no objection to this particular clip. If this is from disc 39, or I'm sorry, it's not disc 39, I think it's disc 41. Is that what you're referring to as clip 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Halfway down the page. What's the next one?
Should go through them all, just go through them all in order.
This is disc 39 from 230 to 232. The state has no objection.
All right. Next one.
The additional minutes, 10 to 9:15, and those are just clips out of that particular segment, not the entire period.
And Your Honor, the state has an objection because they're referring to 6 hours of the front door. The victim was in dorm room 213. Mr. Vandenburg was in East Hall, so the state had no reason to review every second of that video. And while someone has reviewed it, I can't tell you what's in that 6 hours of video to even be able to articulate properly the objection, other than it appears to be irrelevant.
Okay, well, I obviously don't know what's in it. And I'm sure they're not going to show 6 hours. About how much time are we talking about? Actual live footage.
I have that time broken.
Okay.
The state's objection is to relevance. The state would request that the defense allege what the relevance is.
15 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, and what are we talking about that's in clips? What's going to be, or what do you want to be shown, I should say?
Your Honor, the clips that the state showed Mr. Harva are not sufficient. They're missing people, they're missing things that have happened, they're missing slices of information. And so my questions will be on those issues.
And the state objects that based on that comment, there is no relevance. If Mr. Perez wants to purport what is in these clips that is relevant to this case, then a determination can be made. But at this point, nothing has been proffered to the court.
Your Honor, I am not saying on those clips,
I need you to get close to a microphone, really.
I'm not arguing. I'll go there.
Okay, please.
The defense is not trying to state that there's things that are missing or are in that missing video. The defense is showing the periods from one to the other which directly contrast what Mr. Harville has said about how the system works. So Ms. Norman wants me to say that there was a person within 12 hours of missing video. I can't say that. But what I can say is it stopped at this point and started at this point. Where there's other, then we'll show him another video.
I see your point.
Okay.
So I'm going to allow it because I do see your point. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, what I'm going to do, as long as it's not something that's offensive at this juncture, I'm going to have the jury come on back in. We can get through this 15 minutes of video as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we're going to be here all morning arguing about video.
There's nothing offensive here.
Okay, all right.
And Your Honor, just so I don't waste any future time, whatever video is introduced, the state would request that those clips be pulled out as the entire video file should not be entered, because each disc is going to cover a 10-hour period.
Your Honor, we don't have the capability to do that. We've tried. We don't have that capability as a state did. We couldn't pull that out and put it. That's why we had to give them what we gave them.
Your Honor, I object that the entirety of the video is not relevant. If there's no proper legal foundation for why it should be introduced into evidence.
Well, I think that the only thing I believe is going to be shown of 15 minutes. I mean, that's what the jury is going to see. The other hours upon hours, as they say it, they don't know how to, they don't have the capability of pulling those out.
It's not. Your Honor, it's just converting a file. It's not overly complex, definitely not rocket science.
Your Honor, may I respond, please, briefly? It'll be briefly. I'm not, Judge, this is a proprietary system. It's called Nice Vision. It's a player in and of itself. It is an NIV system. It's not a WAV4 or an MP4 that you can just play on any system.
You're telling me something I don't know anything about.
It's a proprietary system. We can't just convert those. Believe me, if we could have converted them, we would have done them a long time ago. It is a proprietary system. We don't have that technology to do it. These are the discs that they prepared. Clearly, we can earmark the points and know that that's in the record, and that's the important parts.
All right.
Your Honor, just to respond, it is absolutely possible. The state has it. I mean, it's, again, this is not complicated.
I believe both of you. I mean, reasonable minds can differ. But they say they can't do it, you say they can.
The state requested they provide this information so that this could have all been handled before we got to this point in the trial. This exact same issue came up a year and a half ago, and the state did request at least a month ago at a pretrial conference that they provide this information, as well as the state indicated to the defense that they would have to convert the file formats if they were going to actually introduce it into evidence. I mean, again, I just read my...
I clearly see your point, but all we're going to do here is stand up and argue back and forth about 15 minutes of video. Well, actually, you're arguing about 10 hours of video. They're going to show 15 minutes. That's what the jury is going to see. If the jury wants to see it later on, that's what the jury will see, is the 15 minutes.
What the list they gave me, it's 9 different discs. That would be 90 hours. That is the state's objection to the entirety of the 90 hours.
We are not showing 90 hours. Not on this planet, not on some other planet.
And The state's objection is that 90 hours be introduced into evidence. They're not showing it. It just doesn't.
I understand you, but we need to get through these 15 minutes. I really understand what you're saying, but I don't know how we can remedy that right now and allow them to present the 15 minutes.
The only thing I would, if I could say under remedy, would be that if Ms. Norman or the state gave us their abilities to download and cut, we can do that by if we want to break for our lunch.
Well, if the state is willing to show you how to do it, we can do that, and then the jury will only get the 15 minutes. All right?
Well, it's a little, what we're showing now, I think the total amount of video, because we have to go through Ms. Norman's videos, is a little bit longer. I mean, what we're showing now is 15 minutes.
No, that's why I keep saying we need to get the jury in here to get this done.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, please be seated.
Mr. Harwell, we're going to show you a video clip, and I want you to identify it.
I can't hear you, Mr. Perez.
I want you to identify it. We're going to show you a video clip. And
You
mark it next in
identify
line. Yes. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And what is that?
That is the South Drive near the village of Vandenburg, which is an apartment complex on campus.
And do you know if anyone in this case lives over in that area?
Lived in that area?
Yes. And who would that be?
That would be the victim.
Okay. Can you roll?
If you would stand more to your right, Mr. Perez, so that we can see.
Could you identify the date and time that's ticking on the lower left-hand corner?
Yes, sir. It's 6/23/2013, 1:59 a.m.
Did you identify any of those walkers at all?
No, I do not know who they are.
And what street is that? Do you know?
That's South Drive.
South Drive. Is that in Vanderbilt campus or outside of Vanderbilt?
It's right in the middle of Vanderbilt's campus.
Would it be fair to say that where that sidewalk is on the right-hand side, that's Vanderbilt, and on the left-hand side, that's off housing for students, off-campus housing?
I think that's, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's fair to say.
We're going to stop it at 2:03:30. And then right there, in the top right-hand corner, do you see headlights appearing?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Continue to roll. Okay, stop it right there. Do you, I'm not standing there for 1 second. Do you, in the top right-hand corner, do you see two people walking?
I see two, yes, I do see two people walking.
You want to back it up a little bit and play again now that I block the view. Did you see him there?
Can I come down and look?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
If the court wouldn't mind.
No, you can come down.
Thank you. Did you see them? Okay. Have you identified those people?
No, I haven't.
Okay. In your investigation, it'd be fair to say that at that point in time, you concluded that that was Mr. Vandenburg and the alleged victim?
No.
Were they wearing the same clothes, black top, white shirt?
No. I couldn't determine what those two people was wearing.
You remember testifying in January of 2015 that the person was wearing a white shirt and jeans like Mr. Vandenburg was wearing?
I remember testifying about the white shirt, and if you're telling me that's what I testified to, then yes.
Do you want me to show it to you?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the top of the transcript. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you say?
I said that I agree that the white T-shirt is the same type of white T-shirt that Mr. Vandenburg had on.
And you agree that the person that this person with a white T-shirt is walking next to has long hair, correct?
I do believe and testify to that, yes.
Okay. Is there a camera that gives a better angle than the one that we're seeing right now?
Of that incident, no.
There's not a camera further up right on a building?
To my knowledge, at that point, no.
Did you identify if this was a taxi cab or not?
I did.
Is it a taxi cab?
Yes.
Okay. Is it about the time that are shown on the access codes of the alleged victim that we talked about?
I remember it was around 2 o'clock. You talk about the transactions?
Correct.
I believe it's around that time frame, yes.
a car directly following this taxi cab, did you identify that as a police car?
The car behind the taxi cab, yes, that is a police car.
Did you investigate who was driving that or anything, that they saw anything suspicious?
I believe we did not, no, I did not determine who that particular police officer was.
We're going to clip 2 at 2:26:44, which showing you the next clip 2. There at 2:26:45, there's headlights. Did you identify whose vehicle that was?
No, I did not.
Stop there, please. It appears to be a black car, is that correct?
I do agree with that, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you follow that car anywhere and see?
No.
Did you confirm whether that was the alleged victim's car or not?
I never really confirmed that, no, sir.
Moving on to the next clip 3, which is at 2:05:13.
What time did you say, Mr. Perez?
2:05:13 seconds. And then while we're here waiting, if I may point something to you, do you see this bar I'm pointing to right here?
Yes, sir.
And what is that bar?
If you look to your left, it says 1:31:21 a.m. and it goes to 2:32:11. That is the time frame which that particular clip has on it.
Is it supposed to have red slashes down it to indicate motion?
It depends. If it does have red flashes on it, that means that the video skipped. And sometimes it doesn't have red flashes on it to indicate the video being skipped, but most of the time it does have red flashes on it showing that the video has been skipped.
So if we're looking at this video and it has no red slashing, it's just recording, correct?
It depends if it's recording or if it's not showing you any red flashes.
Would you agree that the clock was moving and it's recording? Would you agree with that?
I don't understand your question.
The clock is moving at 2:31, 13, 14, 15.
Yes.
Is it recording?
Yes.
There's no movement, right?
Well, there's a light blinking in the background. I don't know if you consider that movement, but there's something that's triggering the motion sensor on that particular camera.
Okay, can you go to 2:05? Looking at next in line, clip 3, what is that?
That is the other view of Gillette Circle outside of Gillette Hall.
Okay, when you say other view, You didn't see this view yesterday, is that correct?
I did not know.
Okay, you were shown a different view, is that correct?
A different angle, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know who that is? Did you identify that person?
I believe not, no, sir.
Did you identify that person?
I believe not, no, sir.
Is that a Vanderbilt police car?
Yes, it is.
And in the other clip that you saw yesterday, it showed that vehicle parked there. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay. And was it parked there when Mr. Vandenburg drove up in that black car?
I believe so, yes.
Go to clip 4, please. 228, 23. Did you identify those individuals at all?
No.
Now, that's the, what vehicle?
Excuse me?
What vehicle is that?
That's the victim's vehicle.
Okay. Does it appear to be the same vehicle that came out of the apartment complex?
I could not determine that.
And that apartment complex is just, you can probably throw a football to it, correct?
Not from Gillette Hall, but it is pretty close to Gillette Hall.
Very close, correct? I mean, if you stood right where that black car is, you could see that apartment complex area. Would that be a safe?
No, it's actually on the other side, and it's between a bunch of buildings, but it is pretty close, driving close to Gillette Hall.
That's Mr. Vandenburg, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And prior to this, you've never met Mr. Vandenburg?
No, sir.
And he's wearing a white t-shirt?
He is.
Did you notice if I may approach the video, did you notice up here in this area a police officer walking around?
Yes.
So at the time Mr. Vandenburg came up there in that vehicle, there was a policeman walking around, correct?
Well, the police officers, it was anywhere between that tree and the steps going up towards another hall. He was actually there to investigate a incident with a golf cart.
Okay. And what's the distance between where Mr. Vandenburg's standing and that police car?
I'm going to guesstimate at 50 yards.
Could be less?
It could be less.
I may have a moment, Your Honor.
All right.
we've been showing, just so the court's clear, disc 41 of clips 1 and 2, disc 51 of disc 3 and 4. Would you like to move those in the evidence?
Wait a minute, say that again.
Oh, yes, disc 41, and they're identified as the way the state gave them to us. So disc 41, which shows clips 1 and 2.
4 clips that you just showed, you want to...
I want to, yes, but they're on disc 41 and 51.
Okay, that's fine. That would be number 3 or 4?
3.
Number 3.
Your Honor, can we just have it marked and sent back to us in case we need to file those judges?
All right.
Thank you.
My apologies, Your Honor, for that brief delay.
Your Honor, please, for the record, claim this 52 judges.
Okay. Would this be clip number 5?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to timestamp 2/27/30. That's the alleged victim's car, correct?
That's correct.
Does it appear Mr. Vandenburg is talking to somebody in there?
It appears his head was leaning down to his right.
What is behind that pillar?
That is the go-kart reader.
Okay. So if someone wanted to go through the entrance, that's where he would have to go?
Yes.
You saw Mr. Vandenburg at the gold card reader and then walk right there. What is right in front of him?
The side of the building. It's a walkway. The sidewalk goes on the side of the building.
Where are the front doors?
The front doors, I believe, is to his left a little bit.
So you see him on the far left right there. You see his elbow there?
Yes.
Okay. Is that where the front doors are?
I believe so, yes.
All right. And you indicated that there was supposed to be an RA, correct?
I indicated that there was a room inside Gillette for an RA, yes.
And an RA is a residential advisor, someone who sits there and watches people and helps people or whatever
Yes.
they do?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
At that point in time, there was supposed to be one there, is that correct?
I'm not sure on if a RA was assigned to that particular dorm that night or not.
Did it appear Mr. Vandenburg was at that RA window?
Right there?
No. Right now.
There is a window there, yes, into that room.
So you don't have that, strike that. There's a camera angle there that would show that, correct?
No.
Is there a camera inside when you first go in the lobby that shows outside if someone was at the RA window?
There's a camera outside. There's a camera inside the RA office. Yes.
And it would show if someone was standing there, correct?
I'm not for sure.
But we don't have that camera angle, is that correct?
I did not reserve that camera angle, no.
We're going to go to 22907.
That'd be clip number 6.
We're still on clip 5.
Okay.
Now, there appears to be a lot of people walking around, is that correct?
That's correct.
Does it appear that Mr. Vandenburg is stumbling in that photograph and that video showing?
I don't want to call him stumbling. I call him walking around.
Now, he appeared only to be talking to Mr. McKenzie at that time, and the other person is Mr. Banks, is that correct?
Yes, he's talking to Miss McKenzie, and the other person is Mr. Banks.
At any point in time that you watch these videos, did you see the alleged victim with her phone in her hand or anywhere?
No.
When you say at any time, what time frame are you talking about?
From the time that we'll go to 2:30 in the morning on 6/23/213 to the time that you saw Mr. Vandenburg disappear around the corner of the hallway where room 214 is. Did you see her have that phone?
No.
We're going to go to disc 39, clip 6.
John, we will move disc 52. It's not already been done, so.
I couldn't hear you, Mr. Mayor.
We would move disc 52 as the next exhibit if it's not already been so.
Okay, that encompasses clip number 5.
It does. Thank you. I apologize, Judge.
Your Honor, the state's only objection is that that clip was introduced in the state's evidence, I believe. It was clip number 1.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I don't know the purpose of introducing the entire disc.
Any particular reason?
No, Your Honor, we could rely on that clip for the state. We just couldn't get that.
So you can rely on the state's exhibit
On that clip.
for that clip. Okay, that's fine. All right. So that will not be the next exhibit. We'll just hold off on that.
For the record, that's Exhibit 2A, and it's clip number 1.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Harbaugh, what are you looking at right now?
That is the entranceway to the last circle.
And to the right, where you see like two chairs and a window, what is that?
That's the RA office.
And then if you look through that window, you see an outdoor window. Is that correct?
You're correct.
And this camera view, is this the one inside we were talking about, or is there another camera view that would have shown Mr. Vandenburg at the RA window?
No, this is the camera view looking out at the doors and looking through the at the RA's office.
Okay, but there's still another camera that you did not pull. Is that correct?
There is a camera inside the RA's office that I reviewed and did not pull. Yes.
And then did you identify that person right there at all?
No. When you looked at that other, you indicated that you looked at the camera in the RA's room but didn't pull it. Well, how come you didn't save that? Because there was no evidential value of the video inside the RA because nobody was inside.
Do you recall if Mr. Vandenburg was at that window?
I was not looking at that. I was looking to see if I could see somebody inside the room.
Move that in for me. We're going to go to disc 4, clip 7.
Okay. And you said you have 9 clicks.
Well, we have a little more clips than that, but on various discs.
Okay, well, I thought you said 9 earlier, but the reason I inquired in particular is we need to take about a 10-minute break, all right?
All right. I need you just back.